Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take all the research, the data, the expert notes, and basically hand you the shortcut to being the most informed person in the room. Today, we are going deep on, well, a true cultural event. We're dissecting the anatomy of a generational smash hit. I'm talking, of course, about Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. And our mission today is really to figure out why. Why this one song? It dropped back in August 2024. And it didn't just top the charts, right? It had this gravitational pull.
It really did.
And that pull has kept it as this dominant force for, what, over a year now? I just checked, and as we're talking in November 2025, it's still in the global top 5. It's just wild.
It is. And, a deep dive like this is so necessary because the success of this song, it sort of breaks all the modern rules for making a hit.
How so?
Well, we're in an era of flash in the pan, viral moments, hits come and go so fast. So how did this surprise duet get this massive, sustained longevity? It manages to check every single box. It's romantic, it's nostalgic, it's huge, and cinematic. And you can't even put it in one genre. It does it all at once.
And we really need to set the scale for you here. Right from the start. This wasn't just another hit song. This felt more like a market reset.
Oh, completely.
Die With a Smile was the longest running #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for the entire 2020s. We're talking a staggering 14 weeks at the top.
And that's really just the starting point. The digital footprint is where you see its classic status being cemented in real time.
Okay, give us the numbers.
Right now, it's sitting at 3.1 billion streams on Spotify. Billion. And 1.4 billion views for the video on YouTube. These aren't just big numbers,
Right.
This is global penetration on a scale very few collaborations have ever reached.
So let's unpack how this even happened. Let's start with that release, that shock and awe strategy.
August 16th, 2024.
Yeah. If you were online that day, it felt like the whole industry just stopped for a second.
Yeah.
There was zero warning, no marketing buildup, no 3-month hype train, just boom. A surprise drop.
And the context is what's so fascinating. Think about it. Gaga was deep in filming Joker 2. Bruno Mars was literally on a world tour.
So logistically, this shouldn't have even been possible.
Not at all. They completely bypassed the entire machine.
Yeah.
They each posted the singles cover art at the exact same time. And within minutes, the internet just exploded. Fan speculation turned into global news. The reaction was seismic.
But that's so risky, right? A surprise drop.
Oh, hugely.
If you don't have that marketing machine pushing it, don't you just get lost in the noise? Don't you miss the casual listener?
That's a great question. And for, I'd say, 99% of artists, yes, zero marketing means you're invisible.
Yeah.
But the sources we have suggest that the combined brand power of Gaga and Bruno made this a guaranteed cultural event.
So the surprise was the marketing.
The surprise was the marketing. Their fan bases are so loyal, and they'd both been away from major pop releases for just long enough that the scarcity itself created the hype. The announcement became the entire news story.
It was just this collective gasp of, wait, they made a song together.
Exactly.
And the origin story is almost as good as the song itself.
It really is. It speaks to this pure creative spark, which I think people really connect with. They recorded the vocals in adjacent studios over one night back in 2023.
One night.
Yeah, and the whole thing apparently started because Gaga sent Bruno a text at 2 a.m. And it wasn't even about music, really. It was about a mood. She just wrote, "Want to make something that sounds like we're already dead."
Wow. Okay, that one line that perfectly captures the entire feeling of the song.
Right.
It tells you right away this isn't some sugary pop duet. It's aiming for something darker, more grand, more resonant.
And that dark, cinematic mood immediately paid off. Commercially and critically, the results just speak for themselves. The song is already diamond certified in the U.S.
Which is 10 times platinum, just for context.
And 10 times platinum. And the award sweep in 2025. It was just unprecedented. It won everything. Grammy for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Pop Duo.
So the industry didn't just say, hey, this is popular. They immediately stamped it and said, this is a masterpiece.
They canonized it instantly.
Okay, so if the release was shock and awe, let's get into the anatomy of the song itself. What was it about the sound that made it connect with everyone in such a modern, crowded landscape?
I think the answer is in their almost subversive approach to the production.
Subversive?
Yeah. They deliberately made a 70s, maybe early 80s soul ballad. Think about the charts back in late 2024. It was all hyper pop, that really bright digital sound and trap music.
Lots of synthetic bass, very digital textures.
Exactly. And then out of nowhere, you get this this warm bath of a song.
It felt like comfort food.
That's the perfect way to put it. It was rich and deep and familiar when everything else felt sharp and synthetic. But the key to that feeling is how they made it, the technical side of it.
And this is where the deep dive really pays off, right? The actual production details. This wasn't just mixed on a laptop.
Oh, absolutely not. The whole sound is defined by its analog quality. They made a commitment to record the main tracks live to tape.
With a full string section.
A full unquantized string section. And when you record to tape, it adds this natural compression, this saturation. It gives the bass and drums that real physical thump that digital mixing just struggles to copy.
It sounds present, like you're in the room.
It sounds like vinyl. And that's what really grounds the nostalgia. It creates this emotional blueprint.
Yeah.
When you listen, the comparisons you hear people make are spot on. It doesn't just sound retro. It sounds like a lost classic you should have heard 40 years ago.
Yeah, like something from Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers or
Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, that soulful partnership. But you can also hear, in the harmonies and the arrangement, you can definitely hear Fleetwood Mac in there.
So they weren't chasing a trend. They were just borrowing from history.
They were borrowing the best parts of history to make something that felt timeless from day one. And that was a huge part of its appeal.
Which brings us perfectly to the next layer. The universal appeal, lyrically and visually. Let's start with the writing. That one core line, "If the world was ending, I'd die with a smile."
That line is just lyrical genius because it works on so many emotional levels at the same time.
Right.
It's romantic, obviously, but it's also apocalyptic. It's comforting, but it's also heartbreaking. It's this ultimate expression of love, right? A love so deep that even total devastation is okay as long as you have that person with you.
And what's so wild is how listeners immediately grabbed it and used it for everything. It slotted into every major life event, often in contradictory ways.
It's an emotional chameleon. I mean, of course, it was an instant first dance song at weddings. That makes total sense.
Sure.
But at the same time, it became a go-to song for funeral slideshows.
Wow, that's jarring. The same song for a wedding and a funeral. Is the idea that people are using it ironically, or is the meaning really that flexible?
The analysis says it's genuine. The apocalyptic theme lets it work as this meditation on loss. The idea that even if they're gone, the love you had was powerful enough to face the end with. It's also a proposal song, and on the flip side, a huge breakup cry song.
That emotional range just gives it a much, much wider net than your standard love song.
And then you have to talk about the visuals, the music video. The sources all call it pure old Hollywood, and they are not wrong.
It's total cinematic glamour while the world falls apart. You've got Gaga in this incredible crimson Edith Head-style gown, like from a 1940s film. And Bruno's in a vintage suit. They're on this retro TV set. Looks like it's straight out of Ed Sullivan. The whole vibe is classic luxury.
But that contrast is where the magic is, where the camp comes in, which is so Gaga. The twist that makes it feel so modern is that juxtaposition, the glamour versus the threat outside.
Exactly. While they're singing this beautiful ballad, you can see, outside the studio windows, you see mushroom clouds, burning cities.
It's high concept, it's camp, it's glamorous, and it's devastating all at once. The video just powerfully reinforces that core lyrical idea that love can conquer, or at least ignore, the literal end of the world.
And that visual power just added another layer to its longevity.
It really did.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this puzzle. The longevity multipliers. Why didn't this song just fade away? Why did it refuse to fall off the charts?
Well, the first big factor was the Joker movie tie-in, Folie à Deux.
That was such a smart, strategic boost. The movie comes out in October 2024, just 2 months after the song is released, right when it's already everywhere.
Perfect timing.
Right.
And Gaga re-records this slightly darker, more orchestral version just for the end credits. It weaves the song right into the fabric of this huge psychological thriller.
And that wasn't just a small thing. That new version went top 10 on its own.
On its own. It introduced the song to a whole new cinema audience, people who might not follow the pop charts. And of course, that's what locked in the Oscar nomination for Best Original Song.
Which gave it another 6 months of relevance just through the awards cycle.
Right. It turned the song from a pop duet into a piece of prestige cinema. A huge shift in how people saw it.
But placement is one thing. Sheer spectacle is another. The live performances were just legendary. They broke the internet multiple times.
They were perfectly calibrated for maximum buzz. First, you have the surprise performance at Bruno's LA concert, like 2 days after the release. Gaga just walks out in a robe and curlers.
So intimate and instantly viral.
Then you have the 2025 Grammys, the burning stage with actual fire rain coming down, leaning right into that apocalyptic theme.
And finally, the ultimate statement. Gaga singing its solo at the Oscars. That just cemented its place in, like, the Great American Songbook. Each performance was a spectacle.
And all of this leads to maybe the most staggering data point of all, the thing that really defines its success, the cross-generational dominance.
This wasn't just a hit for young people. This was a hit for literally everyone.
Everyone. Which raises the question, what kind of song can possibly unite every single radio format?
The answer is almost unbelievable, isn't it?
It is. Die With a Smile is the only song in history to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and #1 on Adult Contemporary.
Where it set a record, 26 weeks at the top.
A record. And #1 on Adult Pop, conquering the youth, young adult, and older adult markets all at the same time. It's staggering.
But it gets even crazier. We have to talk about the really unexpected chart success.
We do. It hit #1 on country airplay.
How?
Radio remixes. They emphasized that classic ballad structure, the harmonies. It just resonated with traditional country listeners who love great storytelling.
Okay, but the most shocking one. It reached the top 10 on R&B hip-hop airplay. How does a 70s-style soul ballad do that today?
I think it just means the fundamental appeal, the melody, that high-quality analog warmth, the sheer power of their voices. It just transcends genre. The song's roots are in soul and R&B, which gives it that emotional core, while the pop sheen and star power let it slide on every other format. It wasn't aimed at a niche, it was aimed at basic human emotion.
And every single demographic bought in.
Every single one.
So what does this all mean? The core conclusion from this deep dive has to be that two of the best vocalists on the planet got together and created a ballad that perfectly balanced this intense analog nostalgia with these huge, universal, apocalyptic stakes.
And the result is a song the world just never wants to let go of.
Yeah.
And that success, it comes directly from that balance. A complete surprise release, which avoided any marketing fatigue, combined with this meticulous, expensive analog production that made it sound timeless from the second you heard it. They didn't just drop a song, they dropped a modern classic that felt like it had always existed.
And that leaves us with our final provocative thought for you to consider. Given the massive, sustained longevity of this song, a song that had zero marketing buildup, does its success prove that organically resonant content is now the most powerful tool for creating a lasting global hit? Is this model creative impulse, star power, and instant spectacle actually more effective than the traditional, carefully planned album cycles of the past? Think about that balance of risk and reward the next time you hear those warm strings swell up in the final chorus.